Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour.
Space. So vast. So brilliant. So much closer than we all think. Look up into the sky. What is it that you see? That is space, my dear friend. And that, too, up there, that's space. And there, that too, is space. Yes, even to your left, that is also space. Space all around us. Space everywhere. Space is everywhere. Space. But wait, what's that up there? In space. Oh, geez, it's white. It's glowing. That, my dear young chap, is the moon. The year was 1969. The day, July 20th. The first humans to ever set foot on the moon were about to take their first leap. Cheers.
That's one small step for man. One giant leap for mankind.
Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin, the two astronauts that made up Apollo 11, were in the presence of history being made. What a decade stood behind them! The Stonewall Rebellion, the death of a president, the Vietnam War, the Civil Rights Movement, and the Equal Pay Act. With speeches, protests, and demonstrations galore, what better way to lead such an empowering decade into a new beginning, other than this, the Great Lunar Landing?
One of the greatest government scams to ever be conceived. Not astronauts, but actors. Not a moon, but a movie set. You see, my jolly old pals, the lunar landing was a hoax. Now I know what you must be thinking. Pshaw! As if NASA would lie to us. The government, sure. But NASA? But that's where you're wrong. Let's look at this for an example.
This photograph, which has been officially released by NASA as part of the Apollo 11 mission, has quite an inconspicuous mark on it. Do you see? No, not there. There! Yes. Look closer. The perfect, almost symmetrical letter C. Yes, C. C for colossal mistake. This C proves the hypocrisy of the lunar landing at its core. A technique used on many film sets. By labeling film props alphabetically, it's easier to set a film. The mere perfection of its shape rules out any possibility of a natural occurrence. Therefore, this rock, with the letter C on it, was not found on the moon, but was simply set upside down by a crew member, by mistake. Proving Shakespeare's all the world's a stage, because apparently even those beyond our world are also staged.
Shadows are the result of 3D objects, blocking light or light rays. This abruption of light causes the opaque object to cast a silhouette of darkness. Shadows depend on the light source, and the direction of the shadows depends on the direction in which the light is shining from.
Now, it is safe to say that the moon only has one light source, the sun. Am I correct? Any objections? Didn't think so. Because the moon only has one light source, it is only possible for a shadow to be casted in one direction. Of course, this direction depends on the placement of the sun, but all shadows at one point in time should be at the same angle. It is for these reasons that the photos given to us by NASA seem so bizarre. Why are these shadows at completely different angles? Photo after photo, it appears that the moon has 4 or 5 light sources. Are there 4 or 5 suns? Are there lights on the moon? Of course not. But there are lights on film sets. All kinds, to be exact. Camera lights, overhead lights, light bulb lights. These shadows, which are not in parallel to each other, prove that whatever motion picture NASA concocted was not filmed on location.
The government has been lying to us for years. You know that, right? You know the government has been lying to us for years. What? NASA? The National Aeronautics and Space Administration? You really think NASA's now on it too? Go on their flipping website. It's not .com, it's .gov. The government, man, it's everywhere and it's feeding us lies through IVs. Lies pumping through our veins, brainwashed to only listen and never ask why, man. But you have to ask why. Roswell, New Mexico. The government told us there was no such thing as aliens. A lie. They told us the Illuminati didn't exist. A lie. They told us Barack Obama and Joe Biden weren't reptilians. All lies, 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 lies. Perhaps one of the biggest lies of all, the moon landing in 1969. July 20th, 1969. Armstrong and Aldrin put up the American flag on the moon. Or did they? In all photos of the flag from the moon landing, the fabric seems to be waving and fluttering in the wind. How could the flag be moving in the breeze when there's no breeze to begin with? On the moon, there is no air or atmosphere, which means there is no wind that could have made the flag move as it did. So what does this mean? Did NASA and the filmmakers involved really think they could slip by with such a mishap? The only way a flag could ever move in those ways is in the Earth's atmosphere. And another thing, why wasn't there any type of hole or crater left on the moon's surface after the landing? The sheer impact of the lunar model hitting and landing on the moon would have created a blast crater on its surface. The fact that the moon's surface remains untouched after the model lands is proof that suggests the lunar model did not land on the moon, but was simply placed there by a film crew. It just doesn't add up.
My name is Dr. Eugene Reynolds, son of Dr. Jack Reynolds, and I am second generation NASA engineer. My father used to work for NASA, as I do now. He was one of the main engineers responsible for the Apollo program from 1961 to 1975. When I heard about what was going on here with the documentary, I just had to take action. I just couldn't keep this a secret no more. You see, my father is responsible for one of the best kept secrets of the century. He helped fake the moon landing of 1969. The Cold War threat of the 1950s was between the Soviet Union and the USA. The threat of nuclear weapons and another world war created tension, uneasiness, and anti-war protests across the USA.
15.
And so began what we call the space race. The space race began in 1957 when the Soviet Union sent the first artificial satellite into the Earth's orbit. Outer space was seen as the new frontier, which everybody wanted to conquer and explore. When the Soviets advanced in the race to discover, the USA became interested in winning. In 1958, NASA was created and the first U.S. satellite was launched. Over the next 3 years, tensions grew and new technological advances were made by both the Soviet Union and the USA. The turning point in the race to space was John F. Kennedy's speech of 1961, where he promised the world that the USA would land a man on the moon by the end of the decade. In 1962, the Apollo program was created. My father was approached by NASA to become one of the chief engineers of the Apollo program. He of course said yes. To what? He didn't even have a clue. The Apollo team wasn't doing too well. The budget just wasn't cutting it, and the technology just wasn't advanced enough. This, along with the pressure of the president's promise, pushed the Apollo team to do the unthinkable. They simply staged the whole show. My father helped with the designs of the spacesuit, specifically the bottom half. If you look at the boots that Neil Armstrong or Buzz Aldrin were wearing, you could see the sole of the boot. When you look at the footprints on the moon, the imprint simply doesn't match the soles of the boots that the astronauts were wearing. Their imprint was an artist's work, not the footprint of a boot. It was all a hoax. The USA wanted to win the space race, and they wanted to be better than the Soviet Union, and hopefully put their space programs in debt. They wanted to avoid a war. What more could I say?
But perhaps one of our greatest reasons to explore would also be the cause of one of NASA's greatest mistakes. Stars. From Earth, we can see stars far and wide. Why is it then that every piece of photographic evidence from the Apollo 11 mission showed not one star? Scientifically, those photographs should have been blazing with light of faraway stars. On the moon, there is no atmospheric clouds like on Earth to block out any starlight. So why is it then that no stars can be seen in any of NASA's footage? There is only one possible reason why there was no sign of stars in NASA's footage. Most likely, NASA could not pinpoint the exact coordinates or placements of the stars from the moon on the specific day of July 20th. So instead of trying to add stars in what they knew would be the wrong location, they decided to not include them at all. Later, they blamed this fact on poor camera quality. But if that is so, how can we take photographic evidence of stars from Earth with all its atmosphere with our digital cameras, while NASA could not with the most high-tech and advanced camera technology of the decade? The problem was not camera quality. I mean, hey, just look at this sweet HD pic. The problem was the Apollo 11 moon landing was a hoax. Just another lie produced by the machine. Next time you see yourself being desensitized by our rulers, just remember, not everything is as it seems. When it comes to secrets, conspiracies, and the possibilities of the unknown, embrace the fact that humans just want to believe.